What's going on, everyone? My name is James, and welcome to the first episode of the Political Freedom Fighters, a brand new podcast made to help provide a voice for those who feel left behind and are tired of what is going on in the state of North Carolina. In this first episode, I am going to talk about what this podcast is going to be about, along with a little bit of who I am, what I stand for, and what this podcast really represents. I'm sorry I messed that up. I've decided to come up with 50 random questions to ask about myself so that people can have a better understanding about this show. Yes, I know, I don't have a life. Anyways, and before I say anything, no, this is not sponsored by Democrats or Republicans. In fact, I'm pretty sure they would deport me out of their meetings based on the amount of trolling that they do to me. And trust me, I've gotten a lot of Democratic and Republican trolls throughout the years. So anyways, before I get started, if you enjoyed this show, please hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And also, once you are subscribed, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified on when new episodes of this podcast comes out. With that, I'm going to finally get started. First, I'm going to have to pull out my PowerPoint. Yes, I made a PowerPoint so that I can keep track on the questions and so that you all can get a better understanding of... Oh, wait, I got to present first. My bad. I forgot what I was saying. I'm blanking out. But yeah, I made this presentation so that you all can see the questions. And I'm not going to show you the answers. I want you guys to be surprised, actually, and actually get to know me. So with that being said, yes, I made this presentation. It's not really that impressive. I made this presentation in like a few minutes, and then I made a few adjustments here or there, but nothing too big. So anyways, with that being said, let's get started. Now, first of all, who am I really? Well, for those that have known me on YouTube, you guys have probably known me as James123456789 and James 9 numbers. I'm a small YouTuber who makes AI videos, TikTok challenge videos, tournament videos, and political videos with the occasional news about upcoming seasons of game shows such as Big Brother and Survivor, along with tokusatsu shows such as Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. I've also done a bunch of other stuff throughout the years, from gaming to Pokemon Showdown to reaction videos to skits and a lot more. I've had quite the journey, but I'm still here doing my own thing. And nowadays I post videos on my main channel every single day, and it's really fun. So yeah, if you guys want to, you can subscribe there if you wish. But really, I just want to stick focused on this channel for now. So anyways, next question. Why am I doing this? What is the whole purpose of me wanting to make this political podcast? Well, the reason why I wanted to make this political podcast is because I was sick of third-party and unaffiliated voters across the spectrum being called spoilers and being called a wasted vote for so long. This is also a response to the upcoming changes in the petitioning process to get on the ballot on the State Board of Elections website, which I will put in the description below. Multiple third parties have been fighting this, and with the public comment for the rule changes now expired, we will have to wait and see if the changes will take effect, which will most likely happen. Now, what's the purpose of this podcast, you may ask? Well, to spread third-party and unaffiliated voices across the state of North Carolina. I mean, yeah, it's a good thing. Anyways, next question. Why name it the Political Freedom Fighters? It's such an odd name, I know. Well, let me explain. It started when I discovered a Ballotpedia article called Ballot Access Requirements for Political Candidates in North Carolina. I believe it was like either around 2021 or 2020 when I first saw this. Not fully sure. But anyways, I went to the noteworthy events sections and found out about a couple of GOP bills back in 2018 that were aimed at kicking people off the ballot in North Carolina, and a third bill back in 2017 that our governor at the time, Democrat Roy Cooper, vetoed that eased ballot requirements. The good news is that the GOP ended up losing both lawsuits that came from their bills being passed, and Cooper's veto on the third bill from 2017 was overturned due to the GOP supermajority status in the state legislature at the time. That was when I learned about free speech and what it means to support political freedom and being a political freedom fighter. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to say that, but you get the idea. Political freedom and being a... Sorry, guys. my brain is fogged out, even though I have a document reading what I was going to say. Let me say that again. I'm sorry I'm being discombobulated. Hard to believe that it's been like I do YouTube for 10 years and yet I'm still discombobulated sometimes. It's insane. That was when I learned about free speech and what it means to support political freedom and being a freedom fighter. It wasn't until 2022 when I learned about what happened to the Greens when they were unfairly kicked off the ballot by the Democratic-led State Board of Elections. Now, unfortunately, the Greens won their lawsuit to get on the ballot, but that was when I really started to merge the term political freedom and freedom fighter together, and the term political freedom fighters was born in my head. It makes sense. It's basically a middle finger to the Republicans, and yeah, Democrats. Well, to be real, the Democrats don't care. The Democrats are a sacrificial lamb in my state, despite the quote-unquote competitiveness of North Carolina, which I call BS on, because Democrats have been basically shrinking for a while, and it's really not good for Democrats. They're expected to surpass Republicans like very soon, and Democrats really, really need to take that seriously. So, anyways, next question. What do you hope to get out of this? I hope that people will stop wasting their votes on the Democrats or Republicans and either do a few things. Vote third party, vote unaffiliated, or do not vote at all. Do not give them the satisfaction of getting them your vote. That is kind of my main purpose with this. Anyways, next question. What times are available for us to do interviews? Well, I will be asking people for interviews, and I would like to do my interviews in the mornings because it is often the best time for me to do interviews. I'm often busy doing other stuff in the afternoons and the evenings. So I figured, but I mean, I might make time for evenings, but I think mornings are the best for me to do interviews. So, anyways, oh, wait a minute, I need a wrong tab. Anyways, when did I get into politics exactly? How did James get into politics? Well, I first started getting into politics during the 2016 presidential elections, thanks to the unpopularity of Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And, well, third partyism basically was ingrained in my head, and I've never forgotten about it. Now, if it were solely based on like Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, I think my third partyism would have went away. But then I learned about the whole situation about Brett Kavanaugh and Christina Blasey Ford. I think that's what her name was, and the whole partisanship behind this whole ordeal. And that was when I realized, oh, I'm a permanent third partyist. I don't want to vote Democrat or Republican ever. And keep in mind, I was in high school, specifically sophomore year of high school, when the 2016 presidential election came around. So, yeah, I've actually been a third partyist for like 9 years now. So, that's what a coincidence, right? 9 years after the 2016 presidential election, my channel is name's James Nine Numbers. I'm starting this political podcast 9 years after the 2016 presidential election. What are the odds, right? What are the coincidences? Anyways, what are my political views? So, well, really, first and foremost, I am a self-described third partyist. Well, mainly, I am a centrist, right? I am a hardcore center. I believe in borrowing ideas from across the spectrum, and I also believe in like direct middle option is sometimes the best as a guiding rule of thumb. But I guess more importantly than that, I am a third partyist. I believe in third party. I will probably vote third party over a quote-unquote centrist Democrat or a quote-unquote centrist Republican, which I know is all cap. But I'm also a registered unaffiliated voter, in case you all wanted to know. Alright, I'm going to need to get a drink real quick. Ice cold water. Oh, and my fan is also on, in case there's any like sound going on. It's kind of hot outside, and yes, I know I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, but you know what? I don't care. Anyways, what is centrism? Oh yeah, and before I go on, for some of these questions, I did end up using ChatGPT because of the fact that they do give out way better answers than I could come up with. Now, granted, ChatGPT and AI in general is not perfect by any means. Sometimes AI is extremely unreliable and very, very weird on their sources, but in some of these questions, I think AI answered them perfectly. They answered it way better than how I could handle it. So, with that being said, what is centrism exactly? Based on AI, centrism is a political ideology or position that advocates for a balanced and moderate approach to political issues, avoiding extremes on either the left or the right. Centrism can be widely Centrism can vary widely depending on the country or political context, but its core idea is seeking common ground and promoting moderation in governance and policy. Yeah, public speaking isn't my best skill, but you guys get the idea. I think centrism is awesome, and no, centrism is not sellout. That is cap. Anybody who calls the Democrats or Republicans a sellout is no. What the hell am I doing? I'm simping for the two-party system. No, that's not what I want. Anyways, like I said before, anybody who calls the Democrats or Republicans centrist is insulting me. Let's stop with the cap. They are not centrists. They're frauds. That's what they are. Anyways, what is third partyism? Again, I also asked AI for this, and they put out a really good specific definition, and I'm going to read all of what I have written down. Third partyism refers to support for or advocacy of political parties other than the two dominant ones in a two-party system. Oh, what? Well, oh, what? Are you still there? You're the only one here. Yes, I want to stay in the call. Yeah, sometimes that happens, and that is really annoying. But anyways, I'm going to start over just to piss off Google Meets. Anyways, what is third partyism? Third partyism refers to support for or advocacy of political parties other than the two dominant ones in a two-party system. Most notably in countries like the United States, where the Democratic and Republican parties dominate. Boo! 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 Screw you too! Anyways, key features of third partyism include challenging the political status quo, basically being an outsider, by offering alternative platforms and policies, representing viewpoints that may be overlooked or underrepresented by the major parties, influencing public debate, sometimes pushing major parties to adopt certain issues or stances, facing structural obstacles such as ballot access laws, lack of media coverage, and the winner-takes-all electoral system, which makes it difficult for third parties to gain traction. In essence, third partyism is the belief that viable political alternatives beyond the dominant parties are necessary for a healthy, representative democracy. So that's third partyism for you. And if you don't like it, oh well, deal with it. Anyways, is third partyism a populist ideology? Yeah, I would say so. I am proud to say that I would say that third partyism is a populist ideology because people are considering voting third party and unaffiliated more than ever. Because let's be real, the leadership of the two-party system is hopeless. They're not going to fix anything. They have no incentive. The system is intended on making sure that we suffer. So yes, I would say that third partyism is a populist ideology, and it's something that I would embrace wholeheartedly. So with that being said, how would I describe the Democratic and Republican parties? You know, as a centrist, I have a very unique position on how I view the Democratic and Republican parties. And before YouTube says anything, this is just my opinion. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying it's fact or yada yada yada. I'm saying this to save myself in case YouTube tries to take this video down for BS reasons. This is just my opinion. This is not misinformation. This is just my opinion. I need that to be clear. How would I describe the Democratic and Republican parties? Well, I would describe the Democratic Party as right-wing, as basically a conservative party. And the Republican Party? Well, I would describe the Republican Party as left-wing or progressive because of the ballot access issues that have been going on in North Carolina for a long time, but especially recently with everything that has happened. So, because basically what I'm saying is, I see the Republican Party as left-wing because they are willing to censor right-wing parties, and I see the Democrats as right-wing because they are willing to censor left-wing parties. So, I think that's a fair indicator of what they stand for. They're not serious about what they stand for. And the worst part is, right, they don't even symbolize the real left and the real right. They are basically the pseudo-left and the pseudo-right. They are what they deem as the real left and the real right, which is not true. The real left and the real right, which in this case is the third party left and the third party right, don't act like this. In fact, the Democratic and Republican parties are also insulting centrism by declaring themselves as quote unquote centrist and their policies as bipartisan, even if they're not truly bipartisan. They really, really have disgraced everything. They've had power for such a long time. Why in the world would I want to give them any more power? The Democratic and Republican parties have had their chance. Now it's our turn. Anyways, do I think that all Democrats and Republicans are evil? No. There are lots of good Democrats and Republicans out there. I went to school with a lot of good Republicans. I've met a few great Democrats as well, both at school and online, and lots of good people. It's the parties that I just can't stand, and the establishment. I don't like the establishment. And yes, I'll be honest with you. I think both Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump are the establishment, whether people like it or not. I don't believe in their populist ideologies, mainly because, well, something about them just doesn't seem right to me. I don't know what it is, but I just don't trust them. I mean, and it also doesn't help that they are very partisan and I'm very moderate. But, it is what it is. But I understand why people respect them, at least, so I guess there's that. Anyways, who are my biggest political inspirations outside of third parties and unaffiliated candidates in North Carolina? Well, there's a few. One of my biggest heroes is Larry Sharpe, who was the Libertarian nominee for governor of New York in 2018 and 2022. There's also Fides Panayiotou, who is a YouTuber who is also serving as an independent MEP for Cyprus in the European Parliament, in the EU. And lastly, there's Nico Omilana, a British YouTuber who ran for London of Mayor in 2021 and Prime Minister in 2025 against Rishi Sunak. And yeah, those are my heroes, I guess. Does this podcast have a political ideology? Oh yeah, definitely. It definitely has a political ideology. It's third partyism. What? Not centrism. Nope, it's third partyism. I believe in third party populism. I believe that third parties have the answers to the problems that we are facing right now. And I'm blanking out, so let's move on to the next question. Is the PFF a political party? No, I have no intention on turning this into a political party. In fact, I'm not even interested in making a political party, period. I have no interest in being part of a political party because I believe that a political party will stifle what I believe in, and it will limit the ideas on what I can and can't have. And I don't want that. I want to be able to represent everyone from North Carolina, even the Democrats and Republicans. As much as some of them are annoying. But, I have no interest in joining a political party. And that leads me to my next question. Will I ever join a political party? Like I said, no. I will never make the PFF a political party. It'll be open for anyone to join in. And yeah, with that being said, I'm going to go on to the next question before I ramble further. Will I invite people who are from the left or the right? Yeah, of course. There's a lot of third parties that are from the left and the right. I'll invite them. There's stuff that I agree with. Sure, there's stuff that I disagree with, but let's be real, I also disagree with stuff from the center as well. Hey, come on. I'm normal. I'm human. Unlike the Democrats and the Republicans. And yes, you will hear me take jabs at the two-party system all day long. And from time to time, I basically have no respect for them. They have given me no respect. Why would I give them respect? Anyways, let's go on to the next question. Will I invite Democrats or Republicans onto the podcast? No. And the main reason why is because they get so much press already that they do not need more. I swear to God, the Democrats and Republicans get hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even billions every year to put on their ads instead of actually helping the people? What does that do? I don't care about the political ads. In fact, how the hell do you find my mailing address? How did you find my email? Why are you in YouTube advertisements? Stop trying to appeal to me. And from other states as well. I even get political ads from other states as well. Like, what are you doing here? I don't live in your state. Leave! Leave! Like, please stop spamming me with your mail. You need to understand, I am only subscribed to third parties in the state of North Carolina on my email. I only subscribe to third parties on my email. Nobody else. Like, unless I choose to invite other unless I decide to go to other organizations, to go to virtual meetings. But let's be real, I do not want to hear any Democratic or Republican news. I am not in the mood. Please, I'm not going to vote for you. Just stop. Look, I'll be honest with you. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, if anything, it's sometimes when I get the mail on when I get political mail on from the mailbox, it almost feels like they're trying to hype up their sacrificial lamb. Like they're trying to hype up their opponents in an attempt to dismiss other options. I'm sorry, guys. Let me go on to the next question. Would I invite writing candidates? Yeah, I would totally invite writing candidates. It's a shame that writing candidates are not viewed as serious candidates because I believe in diversity of thought and diversity of choices. So, yeah, of course I would invite writing candidates if they ever want to join because, well, they're the anti-establishment. Next question. Would you invite more third parties to the PFF? Oh, I'm sorry, let me rephrase. Let me reread the question. Would you invite more third parties to the PFF if they decide to get in contact with you? Yeah, of course. Yes, this is a third party unaffiliated show. I would love to get into contact with as many third parties as possible, as long as they're from North Carolina, because that is what I'm going to be focusing on. But that would be awesome. And I would also love to get more unaffiliated voters onto the show as well, so that they can talk about their issues and basically have the number one demographic actually being represented, unlike the state board of elections. So, with that being said, I'm going to move on to the next question. Isn't voting for a third party or unaffiliated a wasted vote? No. In fact, I would definitely say that the opposite's true. The only wasted vote is a vote for Democrat and Republican because you will make absolutely zero impact. How would you make impact by a third party? By voting third party? By voting for them for either president or governor, because those are ballot access races. Mainly, you have to get 2%. And I know that there's some other path where in order for a third party to retain ballot access, the presidential candidate has to be on 70% of all states and be on the ballot in North Carolina. But that's actually not being respected, given what happened to the Greens. They met that requirement, but because of some paperwork BS that they have been handled since then, they've also been kicked off the ballot along with all the other third parties except for the Libertarians, thanks to Mike Ross pulling 3% in the gubernatorial election last year. But you know, I'm blanking out. I'm gonna move on to the next question. What's the difference between unaffiliated and independent? Honestly, that is a really, really good question. Let me explain that for you. An unaffiliated, yes, this is also from AI, please don't judge me, is someone who is not registered with any political party, a technical/legal status in voter rolls, like in North Carolina. So, an independent, politically self-described as not aligned with a party, can be a mindset or a party in some cases. Yeah, there is true. There are state parties that do call themselves independent, and we do tend to mix up unaffiliated and independent so much so that we are assigned to a party that we don't need to. But in North Carolina, we don't have to worry about that. There is no independent party in North Carolina. So, yeah. Next, who would I like to have on? I'll be honest with you. I would like to have anyone who is a third party or unaffiliated in the state of North Carolina on so that they could spread their values and people will get to know them better. And hopefully get people to leave the Democratic and Republican parties, of course. All right, next question. Do you attend third party events and meetings? Well, I only attend virtual meetings and live streams. I don't like to go physically. I don't like driving. I don't like to go anywhere outside of my home because, well, it's where I do a lot of my stuff. So, like, it's the place where I do my like political activism and do all my other things in private. I don't like hanging out in public with other people, mainly because I like being indoors and I like to work indoors. And yeah, really, all I need to say, really. All right, next question. Do you have plans to attend events in person? Nah, like I said before, no, at least not right now. I am focusing on my entire time on making some changes online so that I can reach out to as many people as possible. Be- and why is that? Because, well, ever since June 5th, I've actually been trying to attend political meetings in order to recruit people into voting, or at least be interested in third party politics. Unfortunately, that has not been panning out so well, so I might stop doing that by the end of the month. So, yeah, with that being said, I do like to attend meetings, only virtual meetings online, or watch live streams of third parties doing events so that I can go into the live chat and talk to other people and do whatever. All right. Next question. Do you like to live your life in optimism or pessimism? Well, that's a really good question. Well, I like to live my life in pessimism because it is both based on reality, and I don't care what people say, pessimists tend to be more realistic than optimists, and that I have had more success in life by being more pessimistic than optimistic. Basically, what I'm saying is I've had more success in having more positive outcomes living a pessimistic life than an optimistic life. Yeah, this has applied for me throughout all of high school and middle school and college. Optimism has actually screwed me over more times, believe it or not. And it's why I don't like to live my life in an optimistic way, because optimism doesn't work for me. And I know it sounds superficial, but that's just the way my life has turned out, you know. Anyways, next up, what do you plan on talking about? Hmm. Sorry, I've been speaking for a while. Anyways, I'm going to talk about issues that are important to the people of North Carolina. Now, I'm not really picky on what to talk about, mainly because I don't really care on a lot of issues. I mean, I care about some issues, but I think every issue is important in some way, shape, or form, and I'm willing to talk about it. I'm not really picky. All right, next question. Are there any topics that you want to discuss? Well, I would like to dedicate the first few episodes into getting to know each of the third parties in North Carolina and their platform so people will know what they stand for. And then after that, I might consider talking about NATO and foreign policy, and maybe the drug war, or the national debt, or national sovereignty. Not really sure though, but I think those are the issues I'm down to talk about. It's 11:04 right now. Oh, wrong tab again. Can I make suggestions on what to talk about? Sure. Feel free by typing in the comment section of every video. Yes, I will be reading the comments to see what you all think. And I'm sorry I've been a nervous wreck, but I'm open for feedback on making improvements on how I can make this podcast better. But yeah, you can make suggestions. Why not? Constructive criticism is very important. I'm sure my parents don't like constructive criticism. I know, because I have lived with them, but you get the idea. How frequently will you be posting new episodes on the channel? Well, my hope right now is to post one video a week, starting on Independence Day, but, I can't really make any promises on that. It's really going to depend on how successful I am at getting guests to come onto my show at the times that I want. I might have to be flexible with my times, but really, I don't know. I don't know how successful I'm going to be. So, hopefully, I can do like one episode a week. That's the goal. So how long is each episode going to last? The goal for each episode is to basically last 60 to 90 minutes. Why? Because I think it's long enough to where like people will have time to be able to actually understand what it is that we're talking about in the video. But 90 minutes is all. I also decided to cap it at 90 minutes because for every video that I record, it really needs to take time to process and load. And I don't want to record a 2-hour video. That's going to take too long. And, well, yeah. And I really want to make sure that this video gets like uploaded on time as well. If there are any processing problems, God forbid, I'm probably going to be upset. So I figured 60 to 90 minutes, long enough to where like we can get a lot done, but also short enough to where like it won't take too long to upload. So yeah, no more than 90 minutes though. That's my idea. How long do you plan on working this podcast? Honestly, I'm not fully sure, but hopefully I will be working on this for a long, long, long time. That's the plan. Where can I listen to this podcast? Well, right now you can only listen to this podcast right here on YouTube. So, like I said before, if you have enjoyed, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. I know I don't do silent moments on my YouTube channel, not usually, but I figured why not do another silent moment here. But anyways, like I said before, you can only listen to this podcast on YouTube right now, and if there are any other like areas or social media platforms that you would like me to post these episodes on, feel free to let me know in the description below. And no, I have no intentions on doing live streams right now, mainly because I think my computer can handle it, but I just live streams aren't really like, I guess, my thing. I don't know why. I guess it's because I haven't done it on my YouTube channel for so long that when I did a stream for my 10-year anniversary, it kind of tanked, but it is what it is. Anyways, the next question is, are you going to edit the episodes of the PFF podcast? No. I would rather not be accused of misinterpreting people who act in good faith. Let's be real. I do not want to take the words of third-party and independent voters out of context because I see them as my friends, my comrades, compatriots, fellow moderates, and freedom fighters. Yes, I see them as my friends, and I see the Democrats and Republicans as the enemies. Oh yeah, and in regards to one of the previous questions, I forgot to mention, although I would not ever accept Democrats or Republicans, the only exceptions I would ever make to invite a Democrat or Republican onto my show is if they pay me. So, if a Democrat or Republican wants to get on my show, they better pay up a ton of money or else, you're out of here. Third parties and unaffiliated voters are welcome to join for free at any time because I believe in this movement. So anyways, are you going to be doing research on any of the topics that you're going to be discussing in your videos? Well, I'll do a little bit of research in each video here or there. I'll probably be using like AI along with a few other sources as well, just to like get me updated on what the issues are. And yeah, I will probably be using AI for a bit. I'm just going to do a little bit of research enough for me to get the details, but I do want to give the guests the chance to explain their positions because I don't want people to just take my word for it. I want people to take their words for it, you know? Because although I'm an unaffiliated, I'm not the smartest one on most issues. I feel like I would want to give it to someone who's actually smarter than me on the issues and, you know, have some faith in trusting other people. Maybe I'm going to work on building trust there this way. Anyways, how am I going to format these interviews? Well, like I said before, I will be using a Google document to organize and structure how I will do interviews. Yes, just like this one, I have been reading my answers from a document just so that I can keep the information free flowing and ongoing, and that I don't stumble upon my words. And on every podcast episode, I will do introductions first, and then I'll just go on from there and on how to organize it. Basically, I'm just gonna go like, all right, just get an introduction, and then we'll see what happens. And obviously, I will do this like ahead of time before I do the recording, before I do the interviews, because, well, I really don't want things to go off the rails like this has been. But you know what? That's okay. So, how many guests am I willing to take in per episode? Well, I would like to take like between 1 to 5 people. Why? Because it's small enough to one is like small enough to where like, hey, I can build like direct conversations with them. And five as a cap, it won't be like too big and it won't take the video too long and I won't accidentally exclude people. So I would like to bring five because five is a lucky number and because I don't want the crowds to be too big. So 1 to 5 is very good. There might be episodes where I might have no guests on, but that those episodes might be a disaster. So maybe that might not be a good idea for me to do like 0 guests, but like right now. But you know what? It's okay. Anyways, is this fun? Is this fun? Oh my god. Is the focus of this podcast going to be national focused or state focused? Well, the podcast is going to be mainly state focused, but I'm down to talk about federal issues if people wish, in case it's like big news or something that people want to talk about. But I'm gonna keep the podcast as like state focused for now, as in I'm gonna focus on like maybe the state issues and national issues maybe, but I'm going to keep the podcast focused on third party and unaffiliated candidates in the state level because a lot of people seem to believe that state level and local level politics are more important because you can make more impact that way. I disagree. I think we do kind of want to focus on national politics because of ballot access. And yeah, really, I'm my opinion on whether or not to focus on national elections or state and federal election or state and local elections. Really, do whatever you want. I mean, it's your choice, not mine. So, anyways, oh my god, my throat is giving out. Hold on, man. I've been speaking a while. I'm gonna pour some water into my cup. And yes, I know I shouldn't be pouring water into my cup in front of my computer, but don't worry, I'll back up and just give it enough distance. And yes, I know I have earbuds on, but you know what? I'm very careful. I'm gonna be careful not to pour things too fast. Could you imagine if I accidentally dropped this? This would have been embarrassing. Okay, close this over here. All right. What will you be using to conduct your interviews? Well, I'm going to be using Google Meets for all my meetings because I have tried using Zoom, but unfortunately they have like a 40-minute time limit before you have to like continue your meetings, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do it. And I have tried like using other apps as well, but they have not turned out well. So I've decided that I am going to be like using Google Meets on how I do my meetings. Now, unfortunately, Google Meets' recording features is basically a premium, meaning I have to buy a premium membership in order for me to like, use their recording software. So the recording software. So because of this, I've decided that I'm going to be using the recording software that I'm going to be using will be an app called Scree.io, and it's an app that I have used before, and it's very good, but it's not great for like filming yourself and your screen at the same time. I have done a previous take on this before, but a previous take on this. Okay, I have recorded this episode before, but unfortunately the episode did not turn out as well, so I am recording this episode again. And yeah, I'm sorry about that. Anyways, like I said before, I will be using Google Meets to do my meetings, and I will be using Scree.io to record my meetings. So, with that being said, we're going to go on to the next question. Do you like to talk fast or slow when doing these episodes? You know, that is a really good question. I do like to talk fast and get to the point, I don't know why, it's just the way that I speak. It's probably mainly because I just want to get stuff done. You know, unfortunately, this does often lead me to blanking out and running out of things to talk about because I say things so quickly, so that doesn't help. It's why I use a document for this video in order to like guide me and make sure I'm on the right track. Can you please slow down your speaking so that you can try to stay on track and blank out? I'll try to do my best to do that in the future, but in all honesty, I can't make any promises on that. I'll certainly try to make sure to not interrupt the speakers when they're speaking because I am really interested in hearing people out. And I accidentally spit my mouse on accident, so I'm going to clean that up. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? And yeah, go on to the next question. What are the requirements for me to get onto the podcast? Ooh, that's a really good one. All right, in order to qualify to be on the podcast, you must be either A, a registered third party, or B, a registered unaffiliated voter living in the state of North Carolina. Yes, you must either be a third party or unaffiliated, and you must live in North Carolina. I can't interview people from other states mainly because, well, this is a North Carolina show, and I'm trying to build the third party movement on the state level so that we can defeat the North Carolina state government and hopefully in the future defeat the federal government and get rid of their abuses of power. Now, it will take a long time for changes to happen, but we gotta start somewhere. So, how can I get in contact with you? You know what? That is a really, really good question. You guys can get in contact through me through my email called thepoliticalfreedomfighters.com. And in fact, you know what? Where's the chat button? Um, is there a chat button somewhere? Oh, there it is. Okay, let me put up my email right in the chat below. God dang it. Dang it. Come on. Please don't do this. Okay, here's my email right here. And yeah, this is my email, thepoliticalfreedomfighters@gmail.com. So that's my email in case you guys want to get into contact with me. And oh yeah, and this leads me to my next question. Can I submit memes or send important information to you? Yes. You can send them through my email on the comments right here, and I'll probably put the email right in the description below of every video so that you can all get in contact with me that way. And yeah, let's go on to the next question, shall we? Do I have plans to run for office? No, I have no plans to run for office right now anyways. I am interested in just doing this podcast and doing my own thing for a while. Slow down and see where things go. What do you have to say to the haters and trolls who don't support you? Oh, I don't know why I stumbled like that. Let me reread the question. What do you have to say to the haters and trolls who don't support you? Well, they can fuck right off. Yes, these trolls have no place on the PFF. If they're going to be mean to all the third party and unaffiliated people that I interview, then they can get out. I am not interested in their trolling. The Democrats and Republicans have had their time. You've had your trolling. Now it's our turn to make something happen. I don't care what you say. I don't trust you. I don't believe you. And you know what? If you want to support a one-party dictatorship, then get out. I do not want to hear from you. And if you are a politician who's in favor of a one-party dictatorship, resign. Resign. Get out, and leave my state. With that being said, let's continue on. What are you planning on doing outside of this podcast? Well, recently I have been attending Zoom meetings all over North Carolina to recruit people to join the third party movement since June 5th, but so far that has not turned out so well, and honestly, to tell you the truth, I plan on stopping that by the end of this month, just because this has not been successful at all. So in all honesty, I'm just gonna dedicate my time into doing this and my YouTube channel and other stuff that I have to take care of. But it is what it is. All right, we got a couple questions left, and we still got quite a bit of time. Who is the hottest female politician? Oh God, who is the hottest female politician? Oh God, I don't know. There's a lot of good ones. On the Democratic side, there's AOC. That's one. and probably a whole bunch of other names that I probably won't say. Hmm. But there are quite a lot of hot Democratic women in Congress. What about the Republican side? They also have some pretty hot women as well. There's Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and there's a whole bunch of other names that I won't say as well. But damn, who is the hottest female politician? I don't know. And I know for a fact that I am way out of their league, so oh, man, if I were to like go on a date with them or go to Pound Town with them for whatever reason, I don't think I would last long. Hmm. In all honesty, I don't know. It, I honestly can't tell you. I don't know who the hottest female politician is. There's a lot of good options though. And lastly, which major party do you think has more attractive women? Oh god, again, this is hard. I'm not fully sure. Again, both parties have some pretty attractive women, and anybody who says otherwise is fooling themselves. So, with that being said, hold on, let me stop the recording for a bit. Alright, I checked the video and we still have some time left. So what I decided to do was to finish this video off by asking 8 AI chatbots to come up with an argument to why voting third party or unaffiliated is superior to the two-party system with the phrase, in North Carolina, explain why the blank is superior to the North Carolina Democratic Party or the North Carolina Republican Party. Come up with a 3-minute speech. I assigned each chatbot to a third party or unaffiliated in order to compare the length and quality of the responses. Before I begin, I did also use the free trial of FlexClip for all of the voices that will be replying with the responses I have received. With that being said, time to show the responses.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking the time to listen. Today, I want to talk about why the Libertarian Party of North Carolina is the superior choice in our state's politics. Now, if you're like me, you're tired of the same old gridlock and polarization between the Democrats and Republicans. Both major parties claim to stand for change, but when you take a closer look, their policies are often more alike than they are different. They both grow government, increase spending, and continue to limit your freedom in ways that make us all feel more like subjects than citizens. The Libertarian Party, on the other hand, offers a refreshing alternative based on the values that matter most: individual liberty, personal responsibility, and limited government. First and foremost, the Libertarian Party champions your freedom. We believe that you, not the government, are best suited to make decisions about your own life. Whether it's the right to own a firearm, make healthcare decisions, or choose what you put in your body, your rights should never be dictated by bureaucrats in Raleigh or Washington. While Democrats and Republicans argue over which programs and policies will control your life more, Libertarians are focused on getting government out of the way. We want to reduce taxes, simplify regulations, and eliminate wasteful government programs that limit your freedom and drain your resources. On the economy, the Libertarian Party believes in the power of free markets, not government handouts or corporate bailouts. We support an economic environment where entrepreneurs can thrive, where small businesses aren't bogged down by unnecessary red tape, and where the government isn't picking winners and losers. We want you to keep more of your hard-earned money, not have it taken by a government that spends it recklessly. But we don't just stop at the economy. Libertarians also believe in real criminal justice reform. While Democrats may support increasing social programs or Republicans may call for tougher policing, we advocate for a complete rethinking of our justice system. We want to end the war on drugs, decriminalize victimless offenses, and ensure that nonviolent individuals are not trapped in a broken system. And when it comes to foreign policy, we reject the interventionist mindset that dominates both the Democratic and Republican parties. Libertarians believe in peace, diplomacy, and non-intervention. We don't need to be involved in endless foreign wars that waste our resources and cost lives. Our focus should be on making America strong at home, not policing the world. Here's the bottom line. The Libertarian Party is the only party that stands consistently for your freedom, your choices, and your prosperity. We aren't beholden to special interests or corporate donations. We don't play partisan games. We're here to bring real change, change that empowers you, the individual. So, If you're tired of the same old politics, if you want a government that trusts you to make your own decisions, if you want an economy that works for you, and if you want a justice system that serves you fairly, then the Libertarian Party of North Carolina is the party that represents your values. It's time to embrace a new way forward, a way that puts liberty first. Thank you.
Good people of North Carolina, today I stand before you to champion the North Carolina Green Party, a beacon of hope in a political landscape dominated by the Democratic and Republican parties. Why is the Green Party superior? Because we reject the corporate chokehold that stifles our democracy. Unlike the Democrats and Republicans, who often bow to wealthy donors, we're funded by working-class members, not corporate elites. Our commitment is to you, your communities, your environment, your future. We fight for social, racial, economic, and environmental justice with unmatched conviction. While the major parties bicker within a broken system, we demand bold solutions: universal health care, affordable housing, livable wages, and a thriving planet. We're anti-war, pro-worker, and dedicated to dismantling cycles of harm, choosing peace and fairness over profit and power. The Green Party isn't just another choice, it's a movement for real change. Democrats and Republicans have had their chance, but their loyalty lies with the status quo. In 2022, we earned our place on the ballot through grassroots grit, proving our resolve. Join us to build a North Carolina where every voice matters, not just the loudest wallets. Vote Green for a future that's just, equitable, and sustainable. Thank you.
Good evening, fellow North Carolinians. Tonight, I want to talk to you about a choice, a real choice, for the future of our state. For too long, we've been stuck in the same old cycle, the North Carolina Democratic Party pushing big government control, and the North Carolina Republican Party talking about limited government but failing to deliver. It's time for a better way. It's time for the Constitution Party of North Carolina, the only party that truly stands for liberty, principle, and the rule of law. First, let's talk about the Democrats. Their agenda is clear: more taxes, more regulations, and more federal overreach into our lives. They push radical social policies that undermine our values, attack the Second Amendment, and grow government dependency. North Carolinians believe in hard work, faith, and freedom, not top-down control from Raleigh or Washington. Now, the Republicans. They claim to stand for limited government, but too often, they compromise. They pass bloated budgets, expand state power, and cave to corporate interests instead of protecting our rights. When have they actually stopped the growth of government? When have they truly defended our constitutional freedoms without hesitation? That's where the Constitution Party stands apart. We don't just talk about the Constitution, we live by it. We defend the Second Amendment without apology, no red flag laws, no compromises. We protect life from conception to natural death, no exceptions. We demand fiscal responsibility, real spending cuts, not empty promises. We stand for state sovereignty, rejecting federal mandates that trample on our rights. The Constitution Party isn't bought by lobbyists or scared of the media. We answer to you, the people, and to the principles that made America great. North Carolina deserves leaders who won't back down, who won't sell out, and who will fight for your freedoms every single day. That's the Constitution Party difference. So tonight, I ask you, are you tired of broken promises? Are you ready for a party that actually governs by the Constitution? Then join us. Stand with the Constitution Party of North Carolina, because freedom isn't negotiable. Thank you, and God bless North Carolina.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I stand before you as a proud supporter of the We the People Party of North Carolina, a new force in our state's politics, dedicated to restoring power to the people and breaking the stranglehold of the two-party system. For too long, North Carolina's political landscape has been dominated by the Democratic and Republican parties. This duopoly has led to gridlock, polarization, and a government that often serves special interests over the needs of everyday citizens. The We the People Party offers a bold alternative rooted in transparency, accountability, and a genuine commitment to the well-being of all North Carolinians. What sets We the People apart? First, our party is built on the foundation of constitutional protections and the defense of individual rights. We believe in safeguarding the freedoms guaranteed to us, ensuring that every voice is heard and every vote counts. Unlike the entrenched parties, we are not beholden to corporate donors or political elites. Our mission is to end the undue influence of big money in politics and restore honest, accountable governance. Second, we the people prioritizes environmental stewardship and public health. We advocate for clean air, safe water, and access to healthy food, essentials that have too often been neglected by both major parties. Our vision includes rehabilitative programs for those in need, support for veterans and marginalized communities, and a commitment to addressing the chronic disease epidemic that affects so many families in our state. Third, our party champions peaceful dialogue and unity. We believe that real progress comes from listening to all perspectives and finding common ground, not from sowing division or playing partisan games. We stand for equitable political participation, fair ballot access, and the protection of free speech and human rights for every North Carolinian. Let's be clear, the We the People Party was not created out of convenience or ambition, but out of necessity. Our recognition as an official party in North Carolina was hard-won, overcoming obstacles and opposition from those who feared genuine competition and change. We are here because thousands of citizens demanded more choices, more voices, and a government that truly represents them. In closing, the We the People Party offers North Carolina a new path forward, one grounded in honesty, transparency, and a fierce dedication to the people. If you are tired of politics as usual, if you want a government that puts people before profits and unity before division, then join us. Together, we can restore trust, protect our rights, and build a brighter future for all. Thank you.
Fellow North Carolinians, today we stand at a crossroads. For decades, our state has been dominated by two parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, each promising change, yet delivering the same cycle of political gridlock, corporate influence, and policies that serve the few rather than the many. But now, we have a choice. A choice to break free from the duopoly and embrace a movement built on justice, fairness, and true representation, the Justice for All Party of North Carolina. Why is Justice for All superior? Because it is not beholden to the entrenched interests that have dictated our policies for generations. It was founded by North Carolinians who were tired of the status quo, who saw their voices drowned out by party elites and special interests. Unlike the Democratic and Republican parties, Justice for All is truly independent, fighting for policies that uplift working families, protect civil liberties, and ensure that every citizen, regardless of background, has a seat at the table. While the Democratic Party claims to champion progress, it has often compromised its values in the name of political expediency. And while the Republican Party speaks of freedom, it has too often prioritized corporate power over individual rights. Justice for All rejects these false choices. We believe in economic justice, ensuring fair wages and affordable healthcare. We believe in political justice, fighting against gerrymandering and voter suppression. And we believe in social justice, standing firm against discrimination and inequality in all its forms. This is not just another political party, it is a movement. A movement that refuses to be silenced. A movement that demands real change, not empty promises. A movement that puts people over politics. So today, I ask you, will you continue to accept the same broken system? Or will you stand with Justice for All and reclaim the future of North Carolina? The choice is yours. Let's build a state that truly serves all of us, not just the powerful, not just the privileged, but every single North Carolinian.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about a new path forward for North Carolina, one rooted in innovation, inclusivity, and real solutions. That path is embodied by the North Carolina Forward Party. For too long, our state's political landscape has been dominated by two entrenched parties that often prioritize party loyalty over the needs of everyday people. The Democratic and Republican parties have become polarized, leading to gridlock and policies that don't always reflect the diverse interests of North Carolinians. The Forward Party offers a fresh approach. It emphasizes pragmatic problem-solving over partisan ideology. This means focusing on issues like improving education, expanding healthcare, creating good-paying jobs, and tackling climate change, solutions that benefit all residents, regardless of political affiliation. Moreover, the Forward Party champions increased transparency and accountability in government. It seeks to empower voters with more choices, fairer elections, and a focus on candidates who are committed to serving the public interest rather than special interests. In North Carolina, where our communities are diverse and our challenges complex, we need a party that listens, adapts, and works collaboratively. The Forward Party provides that alternative, one that breaks the gridlock, restores trust in government, and puts North Carolinians first. In conclusion, the North Carolina Forward Party represents a hopeful, inclusive, and solutions-oriented future. It's time to move beyond the stale divisions of the past and embrace a new direction, one that truly serves the people of North Carolina.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens of North Carolina, today I stand before you to discuss a vital choice we have in our political landscape, the choice to support the Veterans Party of North Carolina. In a time when our nation is deeply divided and our traditional political parties often seem more focused on partisan battles than on the needs of the people, the Veterans Party offers a refreshing alternative that prioritizes service, integrity, and unity. First and foremost, the Veterans Party of North Carolina is rooted in the values of service and sacrifice. Our veterans have dedicated their lives to protecting our freedoms, and they understand the importance of putting the needs of others before their own. This ethos is woven into the fabric of the Veterans Party. Unlike the North Carolina Democratic Party and the North Carolina Republican Party, which often get caught up in political gamesmanship, the Veterans Party is committed to serving the people of North Carolina with honor and respect. We believe that leadership should be about lifting others up, not tearing them down. Moreover, the Veterans Party is uniquely positioned to address the specific needs of our veterans and their families. While both the Democratic and Republican parties have made promises to support our veterans, the reality is that many of these promises remain unfulfilled. The Veterans Party is dedicated to ensuring that our veterans receive the health care, education, and support they deserve. We understand the challenges they face when transitioning back to civilian life, and we are committed to creating policies that provide real solutions, not just empty rhetoric. In addition to our focus on veterans, the Veterans Party promotes a platform of inclusivity and unity. We recognize that the issues facing our state, such as healthcare, education, and economic opportunity, are not confined to one political ideology. The Veterans Party seeks to bring people together, regardless of their political affiliation, to work collaboratively towards common goals. In contrast, the Democratic and Republican parties often exacerbate divisions, prioritizing party loyalty over the well-being of our communities. The Veterans Party believes that by working together, we can create a brighter future for all North Carolinians. Furthermore, the Veterans Party is committed to transparency and accountability. We understand that trust in government is at an all-time low, and we aim to change that. Our leadership is comprised of individuals who have served our country and understand the importance of ethical governance. We will not shy away from difficult conversations or the hard work required to rebuild trust with the people we serve. In a political climate where scandals and partisanship dominate the headlines, the Veterans Party stands as a beacon of integrity. Finally, I urge you to consider the future we want for North Carolina. Do we want to continue down the path of division and partisanship, or do we want to embrace a new way of thinking, one that prioritizes service, unity, and accountability? The Veterans Party of North Carolina offers us that opportunity. Together, we can build a state that honors our veterans, supports our communities, and fosters a spirit of collaboration. In conclusion, I invite you to join me in supporting the Veterans Party of North Carolina. Let us choose a path that reflects our values, our commitment to service, and our desire for a better future. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share my thoughts with you today. I stand before you to discuss a growing trend that is reshaping the political landscape in North Carolina: the rise of unaffiliated voters. As we delve into this topic, I would like to highlight why choosing to be unaffiliated can be considered a superior option compared to aligning oneself strictly with the North Carolina Democratic Party or the North Carolina Republican Party. First and foremost, being unaffiliated empowers individuals to break free from the constraints of traditional party politics. In recent years, we've seen an increase in polarization, where partisanship often overshadows the true needs and concerns of our communities. Unaffiliated voters have the unique ability to approach issues without being tethered to a specific party platform. This independence allows for a more nuanced understanding of the complexities surrounding important topics, from education and healthcare to economic growth and social justice. It encourages critical thinking and fosters open-mindedness. Secondly, unaffiliated voters play a crucial role in shaping the future of our state. By not aligning with either major party, these individuals can engage in dialogue with a diverse array of viewpoints. They are not beholden to party leadership or dogmas, enabling them to advocate for policies that genuinely reflect the interests of the people they represent. In a state as diverse as North Carolina, where urban and rural communities can sometimes find themselves at odds, the unaffiliated voter can act as a bridge, facilitating conversation and collaboration across divides. Moreover, unaffiliated voters have the power to drive change within both major parties. When traditional party members see that a significant number of individuals are opting for independence, it compels them to listen to new ideas and innovative solutions. This influence can lead to reforms that prioritize the needs of constituents rather than party loyalty. Unaffiliated voters can advocate for transparency, accountability, and representation that transcends partisan lines. We need leaders who prioritize North Carolina's interests over party agendas. Additionally, we must consider the growing dissatisfaction many have with the current political system. The Democratic and Republican parties, while they have their merits, can often feel out of touch with the realities facing everyday citizens. Corruption, gridlock, and campaign finance issues can cloud the intentions of those in power. By remaining unaffiliated, voters send a message that they demand more from their representatives. They reject the status quo and call for a political environment that prioritizes integrity and genuine public service. Finally, let's not forget that choosing to be unaffiliated also reflects a commitment to inclusivity. In a climate where identity politics often dominate discussions, unaffiliated voters create space for voices that may otherwise be marginalized. They recognize that strong ideas can emerge from any background, and by engaging with a wide spectrum of perspectives, they contribute to a more vibrant, democratic process. In conclusion, my friends, the rising trend of unaffiliated voters in North Carolina signifies a powerful movement towards independent thought, collaboration, and change. By stepping away from the confines of party loyalty, we embrace a future where we can focus on what truly matters, the welfare of our communities, and the betterment of our state. So, I encourage each of you to consider the advantages of being unaffiliated. Let's pave the way for a brighter, more inclusive, and responsive political future for North Carolina. Thank you for your time.
Alright, I really hope you enjoyed all of that. Let me know in the comments below if you think that the AI bots did a good job, or if they were pretty weak and unjustified. And I know that the quality responses that for each of them were not the same, and I do apologize. That's just what they came up with. None of this was my own doing. All I did was type in the prompt, and they just gave me their answers. And of course, I replaced the blanks with their political affiliations. And, well, it is what it is. With that being said, that is going to be it for the first episode of the Political Freedom Fighters. I really hope you all enjoyed. Of course, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. And yes, I know I'm being a salad again. I'm just going to do this for every episode, most likely. But you know what? I don't care. Anyways, I will see you all later. Peace out.